Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about a truth that will set your spirit free. Sometimes God isolates us not to punish us, but to position us. He isolates us to prepare us for the breakthrough, to protect us from the distractions, the drains, delays that keep us from the destiny He has already written. There is power in walking away. There is power in saying, no more, this is not for me. I will not settle. I will not remain in what is holding me back. God isolates so that you can see clearly who you are, what you are worth, where you are truly meant to go. When you walk away, it is not an act of weakness. It is an act of wisdom. It is not rejection. It is redirection. Too many people stay in the wrong job, the wrong relationship, the wrong environment because they are afraid of isolation. But let me tell you something. Your greatest growth is waiting for you on the other side of walking away. Isolation is not loneliness, it is preparation. When you walk away from what drains your spirit, God fills the space with divine opportunities. When you step out of what diminishes your light, He steps in to guide you toward what magnifies it. Every season of walking away is a season of God working behind the scenes, orchestrating your promotion, your provision, your purpose. Do not be afraid to walk away from the familiar, to step into the extraordinary. Do not fear solitude when it is shaping your character. When God isolates you, He is not taking you out of the story. He is giving you a private place to get ready for the public victory. Walking away is not the end. It is the beginning of your breakthrough. When you have the courage to leave behind what no longer serves you, God meets you in the isolation and transforms your waiting into wonder. So rise up, step away from the distractions, step away from the draining influences, and step boldly into the space God has prepared for you. Power of walking away is the power of stepping into your destiny. Your best life is waiting, and sometimes you have to walk away from the noise to hear His voice clearly. There are seasons in life when you feel alone. Seasons when the world moves on without you. Seasons when doors close, friends drift away, and circumstances seem to leave you standing in a quiet, empty room. And in those moments, it's tempting to feel forgotten, to question why life feels so hard, why opportunities seem to pass you by, why it feels like everyone else is moving forward while you are stuck. Isolation is not abandonment. Isolation is not punishment. It is divine preparation. God, in His infinite wisdom, sometimes pulls you away from the crowds, from the noise, from the distractions, so that He can prepare you for what only He can do in your life. This is the season where He molds your character, strengthens your spirit, positions you for the greatness that is coming. You see, life will often try to fool you into thinking that being alone means being weak. But let me correct that lie right now. Being alone can be the strongest thing you ever do. It is in the quiet moments, in the solitary hours, God speaks the loudest. It is in the space of isolation that your faith is tested, your patience is stretched, and your purpose is clarified. Think about the greatest figures in history, the heroes of faith, the men and women who changed the course of nations. They all had a season of isolation. Moses spent 40 years in the desert. Joseph spent years in a prison cell. David hid in caves. Even Jesus withdrew to the wilderness. These were not idle seasons. They were preparation seasons. They were seasons where God shaped their character, sharpened their vision, and equipped them for the mission that lay ahead. Isolation is a workshop. It is a classroom. It is a sanctuary where the noise of the world is removed so that the voice of God can be heard clearly. When you feel isolated, it is an invitation to focus on your inner life, to examine your heart, to confront your fears, to understand your strengths, to become the person you are called to be. Too often we run from isolation. We fill our lives with constant noise, with distractions, with the opinions of others, because we are afraid to be alone with ourselves. But God says, I need you alone for a while. I need you away from the chaos so I can show you what you were made for. I need you in the quiet to see the strength that I've placed inside of you. In isolation, you learn patience, you learn discipline, you learn how to trust God without a backup plan. You learn that your worth is not tied to the applause of the world, to the purpose God has placed inside you. When everyone else has walked away, God is still there working, preparing, and perfecting what only He can bring to life. Isolation teaches you to hear God's voice. in the midst of crowds. It is easy to be distracted by the voices of others. It is easy to follow the opinions, judgments, and expectations of people who do not understand your journey. But when you are alone, the chatter fades, the distractions disappear, and suddenly you can hear the still, small voice of God guiding you, correcting you, leading you into the plan He has for you. Isolation is not easy. It is uncomfortable. It can be lonely. You will be tempted to give up, to compromise, to return to what is familiar but unfruitful. But the discomfort you feel is not punishment. It is preparation. Every trial, every test, every moment of solitude is shaping you into a person capable of handling the blessings that are coming. God never gives you more than you can handle. He never places you in isolation without purpose. During isolation, you also learn to rely on God, not on people. You discover that the strength, wisdom, courage you need are not in your network work, not in your surroundings, not in the applause of others. They are in Him. When you are isolated, you begin to see that you are never truly alone. God is with you. His presence is your comfort. His power is your provision. His plan is your path. Isolation is temporary, but the preparation it brings is permanent. You may be alone for a season, but that season is shaping a lifetime of impact. You may feel invisible, but God is writing your story in a way that will leave a legacy. You may feel unheard, but the lessons, the discipline, and the faith you gain now will echo in every success and victory to come. Remember, the desert blooms, the prison becomes a palace, the cave becomes a throne. The wilderness is where warriors are made. Every great leader, every person of influence, every soul who steps into destiny has gone through a season where they were alone. And it was in that season, in that isolation, they were prepared for greatness. So if you are in a season of isolation today, do not despair. Do not fear. Do not feel forgotten. Embrace it. Lean into it. Listen to what God is saying. Work on yourself. Strengthen your character. Grow your faith. Develop your skills. Prepare your heart. When the time comes, when God calls you out, you will not only walk into your destiny, you will run into it with confidence, courage, and clarity because you have been prepared. Isolation is not rejection, it is refinement. It is not weakness, it is strength. It is not a punishment, it is preparation. God is not punishing you by allowing you to be alone. He is positioning you, He is perfecting you, He is preparing you. So rise up. Do not shrink in the face of solitude. Do not shrink in the silence of waiting. Do not shrink in the midst of uncertainty. God is with you. God is working in you, is preparing you for the life, the purpose, and the impact that only He can give. Isolation is not the end of your story. It is the preparation for the beginning of your breakthrough. And when you emerge, when you step out, the world will see the power, the wisdom, greatness that was being crafted in the quiet, hidden moments of your life. Your season of isolation is your workshop, your classroom, your sanctuary. And it is in this sacred space that God is shaping you to walk boldly, faithfully, and powerfully into the destiny He has already prepared. Many people fear walking away. They fear leaving a job, a relationship, a friendship, or even a place they have grown accustomed to. They fear the judgment of others. They fear uncertainty. They fear being misunderstood. But let me tell you today, walking away is not weakness. It is strength. It is courage in its purest form. It is faith in action. It is a declaration that you will not settle for less than what God has promised you. Walking away is strength because it requires clarity. It requires knowing your worth, knowing your limits, recognizing when something no longer serves the person God is shaping you to become. Too often, people remain trapped in situations that drain their energy, distort their vision, and diminish their spirit. They stay in relationships that are toxic, in jobs that are unfulfilling, and in environments that hold them back, not because they are weak, but because they are afraid. Afraid of change, afraid of being alone, afraid of the unknown. Strength is not staying where you are comfortable. Strength is rising above what is holding you down. Strength is walking away from what is not aligned with your destiny. Strength is knowing that God has something greater for you and having the courage to step into it. When you walk away, you are making a choice. You are choosing faith over fear. You are choosing peace over chaos. You are choosing purpose over compromise. Walking away is not giving up. It is refusing to give in to situations that steal your joy and distract you from your calling. It is not weakness to leave what is harmful. It is wisdom. It is discernment. It is strength forged in courage and conviction. Consider the life of anyone who has achieved greatness. Every person of impact has had to walk away from something. They walked away from comfort, from familiarity, from the approval of others, walked away from situations that no longer reflected their value, and in walking away, they stepped into a space where God could bless them, use them, and elevate them. Walking away is also strength because it demonstrates self-respect. It says to the world, I will not accept less than what I deserve. I will not compromise my integrity. I will not remain in what diminishes my spirit. So often people tolerate mistreatment, accept mediocrity, and endure discomfort because they fear walking away. But strength recognizes the difference between endurance and endurance at the cost of your soul. Strength says, I am worth more. My time is valuable. My purpose matters. Walking away requires patience and timing, requires understanding that God has a plan and that sometimes leaving a situation is the only way to enter the next season of your life. It is not impulsive. It is intentional. It is not reactive. It is responsive to God's guidance. To walk away in strength means to wait until you are ready, till your heart is aligned, and until you are prepared to embrace the life God has for you. There is a common misconception that staying shows loyalty or commitment, but strength sometimes requires saying no to what is familiar and comfortable. There are seasons when staying will harm you more than leaving. There are relationships, jobs, and patterns that will drain your spirit, cloud your vision, and hinder your growth. Walking away is not abandonment, it is prioritization. It is choosing what nurtures your soul over what depletes it. It is choosing life over stagnation, growth over comfort, and destiny over delay. Walking away is also strength because it opens the door to transformation. When you leave what is familiar, you create space for what is extraordinary. You make room for opportunities, experiences, relationships that align with your calling. You allow God to intervene in ways that would not be possible if you remained in what is unfruitful. Every time you walk away from what is holding you back, you step closer to the life you were meant to live. Strength is not always loud. Sometimes strength is quiet, unseen by the world, but deeply felt in the spirit. Walking away is often a private decision, a sacred act between you and God. It is an act of faith that says, I trust you, Lord, with the unknown. I trust you with my next step. I trust you to guide me into the right path. That kind of strength is powerful because it relies not on human validation, but on divine wisdom and guidance. Many fear that walking away means losing control, but in truth, it gives you control. It gives you ownership of your life. It gives you authority over your destiny. When you walk away, you reclaim your power. You declare that your life is not subject to circumstances, people, or the past. It is subject to God's purpose and plan. You reclaim the right to decide what serves you, what aligns with your calling, what will allow you to flourish. Walking away is also a message to yourself and to the world. It says, I will not compromise my integrity. I will not diminish my light, not allow what is temporary to rob me of my eternal purpose. Walking away is strength because it requires courage to stand firm in your convictions, even when others question you, criticize you, or fail to understand your choice. Strength is not always popular. Strength is not always comfortable. Strength is necessary for transformation. Walking away is not rejection, it is redirection. God sometimes closes doors not to punish you, but to redirect you. God sometimes removes people not to hurt you, but to protect you. God sometimes allows circumstances to end not to shame you, but to strengthen you. Walking away is a powerful act of faith, trust, and obedience. It is aligning yourself with what God has for you, rather than clinging to what He never intended for you. When you walk away in strength, you model courage for others. You inspire others to respect their own boundaries, value their worth, and step boldly into their own purpose. Walking away is contagious in the best way. It shows that strength is not measured by endurance alone, but by discernment, wisdom, and the willingness to pursue what is right over what is easy. Remember, walking away is not the end, it is the beginning. It is the threshold to a new season, a new opportunity, a new chapter. When you walk away from what holds you back, you walk toward what God has already prepared for you. You step into clarity, purpose, and power. You step into the life you were created to live. Do not fear walking away. Do not see it as weakness. Do not doubt your courage. Do not feel guilty for prioritizing your growth and your purpose. Walking away is strength. Walking away is wisdom. Walking away is faith in action. When you embrace it, you will find freedom, joy, and destiny waiting for you on the other side. Walk away from what drains you. Walk away from what diminishes you. Walk away from what distracts you. And walk boldly into what empowers you. Your strength is not measured by how long you endure what is wrong, but by how boldly you choose to embrace what is right. There are moments in life when it feels like the world is moving forward and you are standing still. There are seasons when everyone else seems to have it figured out while you are left questioning your purpose, your path, and your progress. These are the moments when it is easy to feel discouraged, to feel forgotten, to feel like you are falling behind. But let me tell you something today. Growth often comes in solitude. Yes, solitude, the quiet, the stillness, the moments when you are alone with your thoughts, your heart, and your spirit. It is in those times of solitude that God does his deepest work. It is in those moments, away from the distractions, the noise, the opinions, and demands of the world, that your character is built, your vision is clarified, and your purpose is revealed. Too often, we mistake business for progress. We fill our lives with constant noise, activity, and company, thinking that being surrounded by people or overwhelmed with tasks is a sign of success. True growth is not measured by how busy you are. It is measured by how deeply you understand yourself, how strongly you develop your character, how clearly you align with God's purpose for your life. And that kind of growth comes in solitude. Solitude is not loneliness. Solitude is not emptiness. Solitude is a sacred space where you can hear your own voice, reflect on your journey, and connect with God in ways that are impossible when the world is clamoring for your attention. It is in these quiet moments that you learn patience. It is in these quiet moments that you gain perspective. It is in these quiet moments that you discover the strength, resilience, courage that have been lying dormant inside of you all along. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has had a season of solitude. The leaders, the innovators, the pioneers, and the visionaries, they all had moments where they were alone, away from the crowds, away from the approval of others, and away from distractions. They were alone with their thoughts, alone with their prayers, alone with their purpose. It was in those moments that they were transformed. Growth comes in solitude because it forces you to confront yourself. When you are alone, there is no one to blame, no one to distract you, no one to make excuses for your failures or shortcomings. Solitude reveals the truth about who you are. It forces you to face your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, and your weaknesses. And when you face those things honestly, you grow stronger. You grow wiser. You grow closer to the person God created you to be. In solitude, you also learn discipline. You learn to set boundaries, to manage your time, to prioritize what truly matters. You learn to say no to distractions and yes to what aligns with your purpose. You learn that your growth is your responsibility and that no one else can do it for you. It is in solitude that you discover your own power, your own potential, your own voice. Solitude allows for reflection. It gives you the space to think, to dream, and to plan. It is in solitude that you can evaluate your life, assess your goals, and make intentional decisions about the direction you want to go. Without solitude, life can become a blur of activity without progress, noise without meaning, and movement without purpose. But in solitude, clarity emerges, vision is sharpened, purpose becomes undeniable. Growth comes in solitude because it builds resilience. When you are alone, you learn to depend on God and on yourself. You learn to trust that you are capable of handling life's challenges. You learn that even when no one is there to encourage you, support you, or validate you. You have the strength within to persevere. Solitude teaches you that your peace, your joy, and your success are not dependent on others. They are dependent on your faith, your choices, and your commitment to growth. Solitude also teaches gratitude. When you are alone, you become more aware of your blessings, your opportunities, and your gifts. You begin to appreciate the simple things, the beauty of a sunrise, quiet of a peaceful moment, the strength of your own spirit. Solitude helps you see life from a higher perspective, one that is not clouded by comparison, envy, or distraction. And in that perspective, growth becomes natural, inevitable, and enduring. Many fear solitude because it can be uncomfortable. It can bring up emotions, memories, or questions that they would rather avoid. But growth requires discomfort. Growth requires challenge. Growth requires moments when you are stretched, tested, and refined. Solitude is the classroom where these lessons are learned. It is the gym where your spirit is strengthened. It is the forge where your character is tempered. The world may not always understand your need for solitude. People may question why you step back, why you pause, or why you spend time alone, but do not be discouraged. God understands. God honors it. God works in those moments to prepare you for the life, the purpose, and the impact that only He can give you. Growth cannot be rushed. Growth cannot be outsourced. Growth cannot be faked. Growth comes in solitude. Solitude also teaches creativity and innovation. When you are alone, without distractions, your mind is free to explore new ideas, envision new possibilities, and develop new solutions. Some of the greatest inventions, creations, breakthroughs in history came from individuals who spent time alone, thinking deeply, praying intently, and reflecting purposefully. In solitude, your mind and spirit are liberated to create, to imagine, and to grow in ways that the crowd cannot influence. Growth comes in solitude because it teaches patience. Life will not always move according to your timetable. Opportunities, answers, and breakthroughs take time. Solitude teaches you to wait, to trust, and to persevere. It teaches you that progress is not always visible, but that unseen growth is happening in your heart, your mind, and your spirit. So if you find yourself in a season of solitude, embrace it. Do not rush it. Do not fear it. Do not try to escape it. Solitude is a gift, a divine opportunity for transformation, reflection, and preparation. In this sacred space, God is shaping you. In this quiet moment, God is equipping you. In this time alone, God is growing you into the person you were created to be. Growth comes in solitude. Your strength, your wisdom, your vision, and your purpose are cultivated in the quiet. Your resilience, your creativity, and your faith are refined in solitude. When the world sees you again, they will see a person transformed, not by the noise, not by the crowd, by the sacred power of being alone with God and yourself. So step into your solitude with confidence. Step into your quiet with purpose. Step into your alone time with gratitude and faith, because in that sacred space, growth is happening, transformation is occurring. Destiny is unfolding. The life you have been waiting for is being prepared. Life has a way of taking things from us. It is inevitable. People leave, opportunities fade, relationships end, and circumstances change. Sometimes it feels like the universe is working against you. Doors are closing and life is slipping through your fingers. And in those moments, it is easy to feel despair, to want to hold on to what is gone, to focus on the loss. But today, I want to tell you a truth that can transform your life. It is not about what is removed. It is about what is replacing it. God works in seasons, and every season of removal, every door that closes, every person who leaves, every opportunity that slips away is preparing the space for replacement. Replacement is a divine principle. It is God's way of teaching you that He does not remove without a purpose. He does not remove without replacing it with something far better, something greater, something aligned with your destiny. Too often, we fixate on what we have lost. We mourn the absence of what we were accustomed to. We dwell on the past, forgetting that life is not measured by what we leave behind, but by what God places before us. Removal can feel like rejection, but replacement is revelation. It is God showing you that the empty space is not empty. It is preparing to be filled with something extraordinary. Replacement requires faith. requires trusting that the hand that removed will also restore. It requires patience because divine replacement does not always come immediately. You may feel the emptiness for a season, but that season is not a punishment, it is preparation. The space created by removal is sacred space. It is a space where God can bring the right people, the right opportunities, the right blessings into your life. It is in that space that God aligns everything for your next breakthrough. Consider this: if a tree loses its leaves in the winter, we do not despair. We know that the leaves will return in the spring, stronger, greener, and more abundant. God works in the same way. Removal is like the winter of your life. It may feel barren, cold, and uncomfortable, but replacement is coming. The spring of your life is already on the way. And when it arrives, will be more beautiful than you ever imagined. Replacement over removal also requires perspective. You see, not everything that leaves your life is a loss. Sometimes the people, the jobs, the relationships, or the habits that are removed were holding you back. They were distractions, drains, or delays. They were preventing you from stepping fully into your purpose. And when God removes them, He is not punishing you. He is positioning you for what is better. Replacement over removal teaches gratitude. It reminds you to be thankful for the lessons even in loss, to be thankful for the experiences even in difficulty, to trust that the hand of God is guiding you even when you cannot see the full plan. Replacement over removal is not about resentment. It is about anticipation. It is about trusting that the best is yet to come. Replacement over removal also calls for courage. It requires stepping into the unknown, trusting that what God has for you is better than what you had before. It is easy to cling to what is familiar, even when it no longer serves you, because familiarity feels safe. But strength lies in faith, the faith that the God who removed will replace. The courage to step forward, even when you cannot see the replacement yet, is the courage that leads to transformation. Every great breakthrough in life comes with a season of removal. Every person who has ever achieved their destiny has had doors close, opportunities vanish, and seasons end. But what sets them apart is not that they mourned the removal, they looked for the replacement. They trusted that the empty space was not a void, but a stage for something greater. They understood that God's timing is perfect. His replacement is always greater than what was removed. Replacement over removal is also about trust. It is about trusting God's wisdom over your understanding. Sometimes we fight removal because we think we know what is best. God sees the end from the beginning. God knows what aligns with your purpose. God knows what your heart truly needs. And when He removes something from your life, it is because He is making room for something that will fulfill you in ways you could not imagine. Replacement over removal is an invitation to hope. It tells you that the absence you feel is temporary, that the pain you experience is purposeful. The void is fertile ground for something extraordinary. It reminds you that life is a cycle of endings and beginnings. And when one chapter closes, chapter opens, full of possibilities, full of promise, and full of God's provision. Replacement over removal also teaches discernment. It helps you understand that not every person, opportunity, or thing belongs in your life forever. Some things are meant to teach you lessons, test your faith, or shape your character. When they leave, it is not a tragedy, it is a necessary step in your growth. And the replacement that comes will honor what you have learned, amplify your gifts, and elevate your purpose. God often uses replacement to elevate your life beyond your expectations. What was removed may have limited you, kept you small, or delayed your destiny. But what is replacing it is designed to lift you, expand your influence, and align you with your true calling. Replacement is not just about filling a gap. It is about enhancing your life in ways that removal never could. Replacement over removal teaches patience and trust. It teaches you that God is never late. His timing is perfect. It teaches you that the waiting period is not wasted, it is working. It teaches you that the space created by removal is not empty. It is sacred, intentional, and prepared for a blessing that is greater than anything you have ever experienced. So, if you are in a season of removal today, do not despair. Do not grieve excessively. Do not cling to what is no longer yours. Instead, step into faith. Step into hope. Step into the anticipation of replacement. Understand that every door that closes, every person who leaves, every opportunity that fades is creating space for God's divine replacement. Replacement over removal requires action too. It is not passive. It is not sitting back and waiting for miracles without preparation. It is positioning yourself to receive. It is working on yourself, growing in faith, and aligning your heart with God's plan so that when the replacement comes, you are ready to embrace it fully. Replacement is never wasted on the unprepared. Honors those who trust, who persevere, and who walk in faith. Removal is temporary, but replacement is eternal. Removal may hurt, but replacement heals. Removal may challenge, but replacement empowers. Removal may close doors, but replacement opens windows, opportunities, and pathways that you never imagined. Replacement is the divine promise that God has not abandoned you. Replacement is the evidence that God's plan for your life is bigger, better, brighter than anything you are leaving behind. So today, embrace the principle of replacement over removal. Celebrate the space that God has created in your life. Prepare your heart, your mind, and your spirit for the blessings that are on the way. Trust His timing, trust His wisdom, and trust His plan. Step forward with courage, knowing that what is replacing what was removed is far greater than anything you could have hoped for. Destiny is a word that inspires hope, ignites purpose, sets the heart ablaze with anticipation. Every one of us was created for a purpose, designed for impact, and called to greatness. But here is the truth that many overlook. Destiny is not unlocked by comfort. Destiny is not unlocked by fearlessness in easy times. Destiny is unlocked by courage. Courage is the key. Courage is the bridge between where you are and where God is calling you to be. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward in spite of fear. It is saying yes when every voice inside you screams no. It is stepping out when the path is uncertain, the terrain is rough, and the outcome is unknown. Destiny requires courage because destiny calls you beyond what is safe and beyond what is familiar. Too many people are waiting for courage to appear magically. They are waiting for fear to disappear before they act. But let me tell you something today. Courage is not found in the absence of fear. It is found in obedience to God despite the fear. It is in the moments when your heart is trembling, when your hands are shaking, when the world says you cannot, that courage is born. And it is that courage that unlocks your destiny. Courage unlocks destiny because it allows you to take risks. Every significant breakthrough, every monumental success, every life-changing moment comes with risk. There is risk in stepping away from what no longer serves you. There is risk in saying no to the familiar and yes to the unknown. There is risk in trusting God when the odds seem impossible. But courage allows you to embrace risk with faith, knowing that God is the one who holds your future. Heroes of faith, the leaders, the trailblazers, and the visionaries, all of them had to face fear, doubt, and opposition. Moses had to confront Pharaoh. Joshua had to lead a nation across a river. Esther had to approach the king, risking her life for her people. Every one of them stepped into their calling with courage, and because they did, destiny unfolded. Courage did not just open doors, it unlocked kingdoms. Courage unlocks its destiny because it frees you from the chains of indecision. So often we are paralyzed by doubt. We hesitate because we fear failure, rejection, criticism. We wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect approval. But destiny does not wait for perfection. Destiny requires action. Destiny requires boldness. Destiny requires courage. When you choose courage over hesitation, you step into the flow of God's plan, and doors that were once closed begin to open. Courage is also the fuel for perseverance. Destiny is rarely instantaneous. It often requires persistence, endurance, and the willingness to press on even when the journey is long and the obstacles seem insurmountable. Courage gives you the strength to rise every time you fall, to keep moving when the road is steep, and to maintain faith when the outcome is not yet visible. Destiny is a marathon, and courage keeps you running when others quit. Courage unlocks destiny because it allows you to embrace change. Change is uncomfortable, unpredictable, and sometimes frightening, but your destiny is on the other side of change. If you resist it, you remain stagnant. If you embrace it with courage, you step into the new season that God has prepared for you. Every transformation, every breakthrough, every elevation requires courage, the courage to leave what is behind and step boldly into what is ahead. Courage is born in solitude and refined through trials. It is strengthened in seasons when you are alone, when the world is silent, and when only God sees your struggle. It is tested in moments when failure seems imminent, when opposition is relentless, and when doubt threatens to overpower faith. It is in these moments that courage becomes unshakable, and when courage is unshakable, destiny cannot be denied. Courage unlocks destiny because it allows you to stand firm in your values and convictions. The world will test you. People will challenge you. Circumstances will tempt you. But courage gives you the ability to stay true to your purpose, to honor your calling, to walk in integrity, even when the easier path is to compromise. Destiny is never achieved at the cost of your character. Courage ensures that you walk into your destiny whole, righteous, and aligned with God. Courage is contagious. When you act boldly, others are inspired. When you face fear with faith, others gain hope. When you step into the unknown with confidence in God, you create a path for others to follow. Destiny is not just personal, it impacts generations. Courage is the spark that ignites transformation in you and in those around you. Courage unlocks destiny because it allows you to overcome the voices of doubt, both internal and external. There will always be voices that say you cannot, you are not enough, or that the timing is wrong. There will always be critics, naysayers, and skeptics. But courage allows you to rise above the noise. Courage allows you to listen to God's voice over the voices of fear and uncertainty. Courage allows you to move forward, even when the world tells you to stay behind. Courage is not a one-time act, it is a lifestyle. It is choosing daily to act in faith, to speak truth, embrace challenge, and to pursue purpose. Destiny is not unlocked in a moment of convenience. It is unlocked in a lifetime of courageous choices, small and large, consistent and faithful. Each courageous step brings you closer to the fullness of what God has planned for your life. Step forward in courage. Speak when it is easier to remain silent. Move when it is easier to remain still. Trust when it is easier to doubt. Stand when it is easier to surrender. Take the risks that faith requires. Embrace the challenges that growth demands. Walk boldly into the unknown with confidence in God's guidance. Fear may be present, but courage is the key. Hesitation may try to hold you back, but courage moves you forward. Uncertainty may cloud your path. Courage illuminates it. Destiny is waiting for you, but courage is what unlocks the door. Do not wait for fear to disappear. Do not wait for the path to be clear. Do not wait for approval, permission, or perfect conditions. Step out in courage today. Take the first step, the next step, and the step after that. Trust that God will meet you in the middle. Trust that He has equipped you for this moment. Trust that your destiny is waiting. It will not wait forever. Courage unlocks destiny. And when you walk in courage, nothing can stop the life God has prepared for you. Nothing can block your purpose. Nothing can delay your breakthrough. Courage is your key, your power, and your authority. It is the gift God has given you to step boldly into the life you were created to live. So rise up, step out, move forward, speak boldly, act decisively. Your destiny is calling, and courage is the only key. Claim it, live it, walk in it, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never imagined.